This show is sponsored by Lila Arboretum Society.
Hi, I'm Vi Gogol, Master Gardener, and you are in the garden. And today we're at the garden of Brett and Tanya Myers. And Brett's going to walk through the garden with us and tell us a little bit about the plants. And first I should ask you how long you've been here, because I'll forget to do that later.
We've been in this house about 10 years.
10 years. Okay, and it pretty much didn't have this stuff because I recognize it as materials that you got at various plant sales.
When we moved in, there were literally 4 shrubs in the entire property. There was 1 juniper in this front yard along the driveway. There were 2 English yews in the backyard and 1 lilac.
Okay, it's not like that anymore.
Yeah, it was nice to not have to undo something before you wanted to do something new. It was a blank slate. Lots of fun.
Let's step over this way and let Dave get in there and take some pictures while you tell us what we're looking at. We've got, I know, ladies' mantle at the end.
Ladies' mantle.
You don't have to go there.
And next to the ladies' mantle is Caesar's brother, Siberian iris. Over on the back side of that, there's a mixture of coneflower. The white was powwow, and I can't remember what the multicolored, like red, orange, yellow, mixed 2 together. There's mellow yellow butterfly weed that's in flower there as well.
And the tree.
Yep, and this little tricolor beech, which is absolutely gorgeous a little earlier. They start to get a little washed out with this hot summer.
Well, you know, the last couple of years they've been really pretty all summer long. It surprised me.
This one's only been in here about 3 years now.
Yeah, mine's been about 5 or 6. I don't remember when I put it in.
I would guess it to be about a 7-8-year-old tree
okay,
altogether. This is Midnight Sun perennial hibiscus. This will have big dinner plate red flowers on it here shortly. Maybe just starting to form those, so that's a nice late summer color.
Do they come from seed at all?
That I'm not sure. I bought these as perennial plants.
I was thinking maybe you ought to save your seed this fall and see what we can do.
Oh yeah, those are flower buds right there starting to form.
They're beautiful plants, and you don't really need a blossom all the time because the foliage puts color in the garden.
Right, right. This is spiny bear's breeches, Acanthus spinosus. It flowered gorgeous last year. Nice little spikes with pink lips, almost like a turtle's mouth, the shape is. And this is Crocosmia. This is the cultivar Lucifer with the bright red flowers.
And hummingbirds love that.
Yeah. We've had hummingbirds around. Seen a lot of butterflies lately with all the milkweed that's in the backyard. And this is a gold pillar barberry. Pillar is one of those things that's very loosely used in Michigan with all our snow and rain, so it kind of flops out.
But it looks just like mine, and mine's not a pillar.
No, neither is this. I wouldn't call this a pillar anymore. If it's staying pillar, I think of the sky pencil or something like that.
It could have been mislabeled.
Like this Kobold Liatris next to it. That's a little more pillar shaped.
Yeah.
That'll have beautiful
That's a
purple
beautiful
flowers.
Clump.
They're getting close.
Did you plant bulbs or did you put a plant in when you started?
This was a plant. It started as a plant.
And
this is an Amsonia. So this will have little dainty blue flowers on it. And it's new because it had a mallow there that would just burn up in the heat, so I swapped them out. This is an American fringe tree, and what you see here, these little things are where the flowers were. This was a wash and white fringe, lacy looking flowers.
They were beautiful this year all over. Yep. Everybody that had them.
Mid-spring. It's not a real common plant. It should really be used more. It doesn't get overly big. There's some in the Arboretum that are multi-stem shrubs. This one was grown as a single stem tree.
Yeah, I'm growing mine as a shrub.
You know, maybe 15 feet tall.
Mine's already at least 12.
It will have those little seed pods or appendages will develop little purple berries.
The birds like them?
Yeah, the birds will eat them. And they can seed if they hit the ground, but you got to have a very particular condition, so it's not a weedy tree at all. And then it has a really nice yellow fall color on it as well.
Okay, let's check out the backyard. Tell us about what you've got here in the baskets in the pot.
This is a Diplodenia, which is a vining tropical plant. It's very closely related to Mandevilla, and you kind of see that sort of whorled way that the flowers open on this. These are, my wife and I love having them in these hanging baskets. Being a hanging basket, there's only so much soil. We work, they'll dry out while you're at work. We've had petunias and other things in there, and if they dry out a little bit, the leaves will brown, and you have to pick them off. It doesn't kill the plants, but it makes them look ugly. These really don't miss a beat. Flowers get a little sun faded as they fade, but they're gorgeous. And then next to that, we have this hibiscus that we bought with the stems already knotted. Put in a little, this is a variegated Lismachia that's on the bottom there that's in flower, and then I stuff in a basil. I put herbs in wherever I can, whenever I can, and then pick them whenever we want. This is this hibiscus is a Fort Myers hibiscus was the cultivar. Just a real nice bright yellow color. That is Sweet Autumn Clematis. One of the things that we really love about this yard is, in spite of the fact that it's in, pretty traditional, tight suburban neighborhood, there's really a lot of privacy here, and kind of one of the last little things we did to add even more privacy. But also, this is only the second year for this hibiscus being in here, and in fact, 2 of the plants I had died. So we've got one trying to cover this whole fence right now. Given enough time, it will be a solid wall, and then when this flowers in September, from the top of our fence to the top of that screen will just be a wash of white flowers. They're so cool.
And they smell good.
Yeah, the fragrance will just fill up the whole yard.
I see some potted plants there. Is that Melampodium?
Yes, there's some Melampodium with the Marguerite, the chartreuse green sweet potato vine, and then a nice lemony yellow petunia. I don't remember the exact cultivar of that petunia. And then for me, my big thing is this purple Jackmanii clematis that's on here. My grandmother had one at her house that was huge, so I've always got a purple Jackmanii on this.
How old is that one?
This little fuzzy little guy with the little leaves is a mimosa tree, which is not hardy to this area in the sense that it can grow to mature size and flower. So every year the winter kills it back to the ground. I pick and choose which stems I allow to grow. Right now it's about 3.5, maybe approaching 4 feet tall. By the end of the season, it'll be about 7-8 feet tall and just kind of fill in this space real nicely. The leaves are also neat because each night they kind of fold up a little bit. Adds a somewhat of a tropical feel.
What's that growing on the top of that?
This moss.
I've never seen anything bloomed red.
I mean, my wife and I love this fence.
Don't take it
this
off.
old beat up fence. It's fallen down. It's leaning over right now because that broke.
I love it.
It'll be a shame when we actually have to replace it, and it'll be that nice clean yellow wood versus this thing.
Maybe you can transplant some of that mossy stuff.
Right. Save a couple of those cross pieces and use them for decoration. This little chartreuse yellow guy is an Aurelia. I don't remember the cultivar name of it. I've got the tags and so forth. But it won't be particularly tall. It really does well here because the mimosa gives it a little bit of shade. Those are best in a part shade scenario, so we're kind of pushing it to see what it'll do. So far, so good, especially as hot as this summer's been. Another Caesar's Brother Siberian Iris.
Check out the pup underneath the bush.
And then Charlie's rolling around in this oak leaf hydrangea right now. That will still flower yet this year, so that'll be a wash of kind of lime green, lime yellow flowers. There's a little one. Oh, puppy.
He's not hurting anything. Nobody can see those leaves. Okay, vegetable garden.
Yes. Basically, all of our vegetables are in pots. It's just been an easier way to grow. There's less weeding to worry about. Because I work in the green industry, I have access to a whole bunch of black plastic pots over the years. So we've got russet potatoes in this year. There's Brussels sprouts, more onions kind of tucked in here and there. There's some acorn squash. I always like to put sunflowers and corn along the back edge. We've got various kinds of cucumbers and zucchini. This year we have some Thai peppers and bell peppers. I think California Wonder. I really have come to love tomatillos, so there's a few more tomatillo plants back here.
You know,
there's some sun sugar cherry tomatoes back there, and I think it's a big beef red tomato that we have. Both English and slicing cucumbers.
We call this plumbago. Oh, Dave's back there looking at something. Checking out the corn.
I hear a lot of stuff snapping around in there, puppy. And then over to the right, there's just been some volunteer milkweed that, to me, it gives such a great foliar contrast. Unfortunately, they've just finished flowering. They were
They look
balls
good.
were nice pink, really pretty. They were white, and then they go through a pink phase.
But they still look good.
If I was really on my game, I would cut them off and not allow those to hit the ground. I don't need more milkweed.
No, what you
It's
do,
just the right amount of a patch.
what you do is you wait till the cones form on them, and before they break open with the seeds, you pick them all off.
Pick them all off.
That's
yeah.
what I do. And it keeps me from being inundated with them.
Yep, yep.
And what is this blue grass over here? Not being very kind to Dave.
It's just a fescue.
Is that
like an Elijah Blue fescue?
Why is it so big?
It's been a big, happy plant. There's another one behind it that is not nearly as big.
Mine are not even 12 inches across, and they and they reseed, but they're not. They're real little.
And that's the thing. I say Elijah Blue. That's the one that popped in my mind, and it is a smaller cultivar, as I understand it. So this might be a cousin of it. I don't remember. That was one of those plants we put in when we first moved in, and I did not save the tag on it. And what I've done since 2012 is I take all the labels that each year and I put them in a little plastic baggie and put the year date on it, just for some institutional memory.
This has got quite a few beautiful plants, some perennial and some annual. Got northern sea oats.
Yeah, northern sea oats. This is again, I think more and more in my pots, you're going to see more vegetables and herbs. This is an okra.
Okra.
And then vinca and coleus.
Is this Vera Jameson?
This is some bacopa.
Is that Vera Jameson?
And that could very well be Vera Jameson sedum that's in there also. So that's going to have a nice pink-red flower display here soon.
Looks good. Another sweet autumn clematis.
Yep, and then one of my other favorite plants that we have is this magnolia. And this is an umbrella magnolia. My wife Tanya wanted to have a tropical feel as much as possible in the backyard, so that's why you're seeing like the mimosa, even letting those milkweeds go with the big leaves and so forth. This thing, the idea is it'll only get about 20-25 feet tall, So I'm going to frame it kind of around our shed, the neighbor's fence, and just have it fill this space. It has these gorgeous light or a yellowy white flower in spring, and then right now you can see these are the seeds. These will turn red, bright red, and then open up and you'll have seeds coming out of those. Just a big, thick tropical leaf, nice textural combination with this Japanese silvergrass. This is a red silvergrass that's to the right of it.
I like this, growing this bleeding heart.
That's another Tanya, just it makes her think of her mom. So what I do typically is I pull it out here, let it flower and do anything, and then when it's doing this I think of as bleeding. This is bleeding heart's fall color.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Essentially what
exactly.
it is. I think it's very beautiful. Yes, it looks like it's dying. No, it's not dry or unhealthy. It's just going through its life cycle. So I'll let it do this until it gets too hideous, and then I'll just pull the pot up against the fence in behind the grasses, and it'll go through the rest of its season. Yeah, that's a
it's a different variety of 9-bark.
Copper. Shoot. And the red that you're seeing on there are the seeds from where the flowers were. That was just a wash of white flowers in spring. Oh, I can't think of what it is. Copper glow, something like that. Yeah, it's performed really well. If this was not garden tour, I would have cut it back really hard. It was due for a kind of a rejuvenation pruning. And here to the left of that, this right here is a Jude viburnum, which has highly fragrant white flowers in spring, but this is after a renewal pruning. This plant was about 6 feet tall this spring, and after it finished flowering, I cut it back hard, and it's already coming out with 1.5-foot shoots. What I'll do to those shoots is I'll pinch the tips, and then that'll make it a fuller plant, and then we'll kind of start over with it again.
It's good for people to know there are certain plants that you can cut back within a few inches of the ground.
Viburnum, spirea.
Spirea especially.
The 9-barks. There's a whole host of plants that will tolerate that.
Is this rhododendron?
Yeah, there's rhododendron. This is calsap that we're looking at right now, which has a white flower with a purple throat. It's really a sharp little flower that's on it.
Is it easy to find?
Probably not at local nurseries, but this one came from Rose Bay Nursery over near the lakeshore.
Oh, okay.
Which is a wholesale nursery, but if you can find out who they sell to, they have a great selection of rhododendrons.
Yeah, I stopped and looked at that stuff. Wasn't it when you get to the end of, is it 96? If you go south, when you used to go to Wavecrest and you went right.
Right.
You go the other way.
Exactly. Yep. They donated a whole bunch of rhododendron to the Arboretum this year. Very, very generous of them.
I'll try to get them to donate some more.
A little painted fern that's in here. That's new, and I don't remember. That's not just your standard painted fern. It's a cultivar.
Doesn't it get redder?
I'd have to look at. It's not that one. It's something else.
It's a much newer one then.
Yeah.
Or it's an older one they're just bringing back.
I don't remember the cultivar of this hosta either.
But it's a hosta.
Yep, hosta. It just got done flowering, so we'll go in here and
we'll leave that one blossom on.
Yep. We'll take these flower stems off. I can just about get my thumbnail through them to do that. And another rhododendron. This is a red flowering one, which will be very sharp. And I cannot think of the cultivar of that off the top of my head.
And then this lilac bush, did it start on their side or?
Yeah, that's a volunteer lilac. This is a Summon Substance hosta. I do remember that. Like this leaf here, that's a little bit of sun in the morning that gets it. So we'll just pinch that out of there. And it has its flowers coming up now. So strategy is to have different hosta with different colors and then also different bloom periods. And then in behind the Summon Substance, you can see volunteer suckers or root shoots from neighbor's lilac. I let them go where they are on a good spice, and I cut them out if they're not. This little purple guy back here is a new bug bane.
Oh, bug bane.
Simicifuga. And this is another one of those, just absolutely love this. This is Dutchman's pipe. This is gorgeous big. You really got to have the space for it because this thing will be 75 feet given favorable conditions, but makes a really great screen. So on the other side of what you're looking at here is our hot tub. And what is right there.
Is that another sweet autumn?
Well, the original planting for this screen was the Dutchman's pipe on the one side and sweet autumn clematis on the other. Unfortunately, the sweet autumn clematis that was on this side died last winter. We had one of those winters where we didn't have a lot of snow cover. It was pretty cold and consistently cold, and that sweet autumn clematis can at times. So for me, out of the 6 or so that we had, we lost 3 last winter. So this guy will come, it'll fill back in its side, although the Dutchman's pipe is winning the battle.
Oh, at my house, you should see it. It's gone crazy in 5 years since I was able to do any work in the garden. Yeah, and you said you don't cross-pollinate it.
No, I don't try to.
You have to use a
like
paintbrush and do it yourself if you want any fruit to come on it.
Fruit was not a goal. In the write-up that Vi had done for the garden tour publication that went in, the press release that went in the newspaper, you mentioned how what we've done with our backyard, we've done it as an extension of our indoor living space. So building this tiki bar, just installed a TV here recently, and you know, the whole setup is that we can basically live out here in the summertime.
Except you need air conditioning to keep me out here.
And even in the shoulder seasons, you know, you've got the pool and then the hot tub, you know, gives you spring and fall, family backyard fun time. This is just such a joy to have. This bar top is from a white ash tree that had been killed by emerald ash borer at Lila Arboretum. And if you look at the side there, you can see where the bug, the larval stage of emerald ash borer, chews through the cambium layer of the tree and basically destroys the vascular system and kills the tree. So this one was out of the arboretum that had been cut down, so I chainsawed the center out of the log and have been.
And then this one, you said
build it into a bar top.
You found this one over at.
Yeah, this other section was over at the city's yard.
What do they call that pit?
Rice
pit, where you can take your leaves and even brush, I guess you can take over there too. Do it.
I come out here and I feel like I'm on vacation. I feel like I've arrived at Sandals Resort a la Myers.
Wait till you do retire. Yeah. And you're going to put a finish on that.
Whether it's coffee or a cocktail, morning or evening, it's a fun place to be.
Well, this is kind of a tropical fill. We should be drinking margaritas, shouldn't we?
We should.
Or pina coladas. Now, you're going to finish this off, you said, but not this year. Not yet.
This is an undone project here. Basically, the tiki bar is built and has been in for 4 years, but we've never really come back and done the decorative and the bar part of it. So being on the garden tour this year has forced my hand and made me become a little more active with this project. So we got the bar in, just put the TV in, and now it's time to do some decoration for the space.
Now, no more steps, Dave.
Watch your step behind it.
What was I going to ask you about? The trees you got here. This unusual specimen, right?
Yes, this is a weeping Siberian spruce. Picea olmorica pendula, or repens.
And then right behind it, there's another one that's unusual. I knew we'd see unusual specimen plants here.
This is a fir. This is Horseman silverlock fir.
It reminds me of the white fir, only with the little short needles.
This is a replacement for the one that was eaten by, it was either our puppy or a babysat puppy that was here. And I was just looking through my plastic baggies of plants that I had bought, and I had forgotten about 2-3 different things, little Japanese maples and other things and so forth and so on, that the dogs actually jumped up in the pot and chewed them like sticks in the wintertime. So mongrels they are. Just some little mixed flower pots. This is another Siberian spruce, and this is a cultivar called Pimoko. And this will just form, maintain this little round bun shape. It'll put on, maybe a 1/2 inch of growth a year and fill in this pot over time.
So it's a sort of a dwarf.
Yep, it is a dwarf, right? So it's neat for me to see, here you have 2 Siberian spruce, but they're completely different from each other. And this is some oregano, and then a corkscrew sedge and lantana in this plot. I like that combination quite a bit. Oh.
You.
And then everything that we're standing on. Oh, come over here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's probably time that we stop before Dave has too much to cut out, and it's awfully hard to cut out good material when you only got a 30-minute show.
Yeah, right.
But thank you so much. I know you joined us at the last minute when we lost one of our homeowners, which his wife has now said that maybe in a couple of years she'll do it.
I'd like to thank the garden tour for having me be on, because it's forced my hand to finish up my umpteen 80% done projects. I was very stressed about that, but now that I'm here and in the midst of it, it's feeling very good to get a bunch of things done.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely beautiful.
We love it.
If you would like to become a Master Gardener, call 969-0270, extension 116. If you have questions or suggestions about this show, call 963-1448.
AccessVision, your voice, your community.